Some of the most dangerous people in your life won't come with warning labels. They'll wear masks of kindness, familiarity, or even love. But behind those masks, they chip away at your confidence, your energy, and your sense of self. Not all destruction is loud. Sometimes it's silent, disguised as advice, wrapped in guilt, or hidden in smiles. To protect your peace, your purpose, and your power, you must learn to recognize the people who don't serve your growth, because the wrong people won't just slow you down, they'll quietly unravel everything you're trying to build. Awareness is your armor. Boundaries are your weapon. Choose wisely. The constant criticism, when constructive, is valuable. It helps us grow, adjust, and improve. But the constant critic isn't interested in your growth. They're interested in control. This person critiques everything you do not because they care, but because they want to feel superior. They thrive on pointing out flaws, magnifying mistakes, and minimizing accomplishments. They may claim it's tough love, but really, it's a tool for manipulation and dominance. Over time, their words begin to shape your inner dialogue. You start to second-guess yourself, even in areas where you once felt confident. That internal erosion is slow, but dangerous. You may find yourself avoiding opportunities because you fear the inevitable critique. You may play small, not because you want to bet, because someone convinced you that's where you belong. What makes the constant critic so destructive is that they often disguise their attacks as honesty. They might say, "I'm just being real," or "someone has to keep you grounded." But there's a difference between truth and toxicity. Real honesty lifts you. Criticism disguised as honesty only tears you down. To protect yourself, you must first recognize the pattern. Does this person ever genuinely praise you? Do they celebrate your wins? Or do they always find a way to turn your shine into a shadow? If the latter is true, distance is your shield. You don't owe access to anyone who constantly chips away at your self-worth. Set boundaries, limit exposure, and most importantly, rebuild the way you speak to yourself, to replace their voice with one that empowers, not diminishes. The constant critic doesn't just harm you with what they say, they harm you with what they make you believe about yourself. But beliefs can be rewritten, and your truth is not there. Opinion. The emotional manipulator. Emotional manipulators are masters of subtle control. Unlike the obvious aggressor, the emotional manipulator operates in the shadows, pulling strings behind the scenes and making you question your reality. They may not shout or insult. Instead, they guilt you, twist your words, and weaponize your emotions. You often don't realize you're being manipulated until you feel drained, guilty, or unsure of your own thoughts. These individuals thrive on creating emotional chaos. One day they're warm and affectionate, the next they're cold and distant. This inconsistency keeps you on edge, constantly trying to earn back their affection or approval. Over time, you may begin to internalize the idea that you are the problem, that if only you were more understanding, more patient, or more selfless, things would be better. This is one of their most dangerous tactics, shifting blame. They'll often say things like, "I wouldn't be like this if you didn't act that way," or "You're too sensitive," making you feel as though your natural reactions are wrong. They might use your kindness against you, framing your resistance as selfishness. They play the victim even when they're the ones causing the harm. In doing so, they keep control of the narrative and of your emotions. What's worse, manipulators are often skilled at appearing charming and reasonable to others. This makes it even harder for you to seek support or validation because others may not see the toxicity you're experiencing. You might feel isolated, confused, or trapped. You'll find yourself walking on eggshells, trying to maintain peace, at the cost of your own mental well-being. Escaping this cycle starts with clarity. Emotional manipulation thrives in confusion, so name it. When you begin to identify the manipulative patterns, you reclaim your power. Keep a journal to track their behaviors and your emotional responses. This creates emotional distance and allows you to see things more objectively. Boundaries are essential. The manipulator will test them, push them, and try to make you feel guilty for setting them. Don't back down. You are not responsible for managing someone else's emotions at the cost of your own. A healthy relationship is based on mutual respect, not emotional blackmail. You deserve relationships where your feelings are valid, your boundaries are honored, and your peace is protected. If someone constantly makes you feel confused, guilty, or small, that's not love, that's manipulation. And you have every right to walk away from it. You are not too sensitive. You are not selfish for wanting respect. You are simply waking up to the fact that real love doesn't hurt like that. Real love heals. Manipulation destroys. Choose healing. The dream killer may not look like a villain. In fact, they often present themselves as rational, practical, and even caring. But beneath the surface, their influence is deeply limiting. This person doesn't believe in big visions, bold risks, or ambitious goals, and they'll make sure you don't either. They disguise fear as wisdom, and their favorite phrase is, "Be realistic." You'll recognize a dream killer by their reactions when you express excitement about your future. Share a business idea, a travel plan, or a personal goal, and you're met with doubt, mockery, or a long list of reasons why it won't work. They don't offer solutions, only obstacles. What they're really doing is projecting their own limitations onto you. Often, the dream killer is someone who gave up on their own dreams. They chose comfort over courage, security over growth. Watching you chase something bigger reminds them of what they didn't do, and instead of being inspired, they become threatened. So, rather than support you, they subtly discourage you. This discouragement can be damaging over time, especially if it comes from someone close, a partner, parent, teacher, or friend. Their voice carries weight. You begin to internalize their skepticism. You start asking yourself, what if they're right? That's when doubt sets in. Not from within, but from someone who made you question what was possible. The dream killer doesn't need to scream to destroy your dream. A raised eyebrow, a sarcastic laugh, a quiet good luck with that. These tiny signals are enough to shake your confidence. If you allow their energy to dominate your space, your dream will shrink to fit their comfort zone. But here's the truth. Their fear doesn't have to become your future. You are not obligated to live by someone else's limitations. Every innovator, creator, and trailblazer was once told their idea wouldn't work. They were laughed at, doubted, and dismissed, and they did it anyway. Protect your dream like it's sacred. Surround yourself with believers, people who lift you higher, not those who pull you back. Distance yourself from voices that only speak in limitations. And if the dream killer is someone you can't fully remove from your life, create emotional distance. Stop seeking their approval. Stop explaining your vision. Let your results speak. Dream killers operate on fear. You operate on vision. And the louder your belief becomes, the quieter their doubts will seem. Remember, every time you choose your dream over their doubt, you step closer to becoming unstoppable. Don't water down your ambition to make someone else comfortable. You weren't born to play small. You were born to lead, to build, to rise, so rise anyway. The one who uses you, this person, doesn't come with warning signs. They don't need to raise their voice or break your trust out loud. They simply take and keep taking. They show up when they need something, when it's convenient, or when there's a benefit in it for them. But the moment you need them, they're gone. The relationship feels one-sided because it is. The one who uses you can come in many forms: a friend, a partner, a co-worker, even a family member. At first, they may seem kind, appreciative, even generous, but pay attention to the pattern. Do they give back? Do they check in on you when they don't need anything? Are they present when you're struggling, or only when you're thriving? These people are transactional. They treat you like a vending machine and put a little charm or praise, and out comes your energy, your time, your help. But relationships should never feel like a business deal. Real connection is based on mutual care, not convenience. Over time, being used leaves you emotionally and even physically drained. You may find yourself anticipating their needs, saying yes out of obligation, or bending over backward just to keep the peace. The more you give, the more they expect. And when you finally set a boundary, they respond with anger, guilt trips, or sudden disappearance. That's not friendship, that's exploitation. The damage this type of person causes is subtle but deep. You may begin to question your worth outside of what you provide. You might feel anxious around helping others because it's become tied to being taken advantage of. It erodes your self-esteem and distorts your understanding of healthy reciprocity. To break free, you must first recognize the imbalance. Start by listing what you give in the relationship versus what you receive. If the scales tip heavily one way, it's time to reevaluate. Ask yourself, if you stopped giving, would the relationship still exist? If the answer is no, the truth is clear. Protecting yourself doesn't mean becoming cold or selfish. It means honoring your energy. You deserve relationships that refill you, not deplete you. Start setting small boundaries. Say no without justification. Take a step back and observe who sticks around when you're not constantly giving. Also, surround yourself with people who see you, not just what you offer. People who ask how you are without needing anything. People who give without keeping score. These are the connections that nurture your soul, not drain your spirit. In the end, it's not your job to carry others at the cost of your own balance. Generosity is beautiful, but only when it flows both ways. Let go of the users and make space for the ones who truly value you for who you are, not just what you do. Because your time, your energy, your love, they're sacred. Give them where they're respected, not where they're expected. The silent saboteur is one of the most deceptive and dangerous types of people, not because they openly oppose you, but because they pretend to support you. They wear the mask of a friend, a confidant, even a cheerleader. But behind that mask lies hidden envy, passive resistance, and quiet resentment. These people smile at your face while secretly hoping you fall. You may not even suspect them at first. That's what makes them so harmful. They blend in, they nod when you talk about your goals. They may offer polite words when you succeed. But look deeper, do they ever genuinely celebrate you, or do they go silent when you win? Do they share your joy or subtly change the subject? The silent saboteur doesn't need to criticize you out loud. They sabotage with silence, with doubt, with absence. They may discourage you in subtle ways. Are you sure you want to do that? Or that's a big risk, I'd be careful. Their words aren't harsh, but they plant hesitation. They withdraw their energy when you step into your power. They minimize your progress, ignore your achievements, and secretly hope your success highlights their stagnation. Sometimes, they even pose as supporters while subtly undermining you. They might share your ideas before you do, offer backhanded compliments, or pretend to help while steering you off course. The sabotage is quiet, but intentional, and the emotional toll it takes is real. You begin to feel unsure, not because you lack talent, but because someone you trusted is feeding you invisible resistance. This kind of energy is toxic, because it causes self-doubt without clear conflict. You won't always be able to point to a moment when they betrayed you, but you'll feel it in your gut, in the tension, in the way you question your light around them. They don't empower you, they eclipse you. So how do you protect yourself from the silent saboteur? Start by trusting your energy. Pay attention to how you feel after interactions. Do you feel smaller, dimmer, uncertain? That's not support. True allies amplify you. They speak life into your vision. They clap loudly and proudly when you win. You don't need to confront every saboteur, but you do need to distance yourself. Emotional space is your shield. Stop sharing your dreams with people who won't honor them. Protect your momentum. Build a circle of people who celebrate your growth, not just tolerate it. And most importantly, never dim your light to keep someone else comfortable. Your success is not a threat to those who truly love you. The right people will never make you feel guilty for shining. They'll hand you a bigger spotlight. The silent saboteur thrives in your silence. So speak truth to yourself. Surround yourself with real ones and keep rising louder, brighter, bolder than ever before, because your life is too valuable to be quietly dismantled by those who pretend to care. The people you surround yourself with are either watering your growth or draining your potential. These 5 types: the constant critic, the emotional manipulator, the dream killer, the one who uses you, and the silent saboteur don't always show up as villains. They often hide in plain sight, blending into your daily life. But the impact they have is deep and lasting. The more aware you become, the more power you reclaim. You are not obligated to carry toxic relationships just because they've been around a long time. You're allowed to protect your energy, to set boundaries, and to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your growth. Your life is too precious, your purpose too important, to be sabotaged by the wrong people. Choose connection over convenience. Choose truth over comfort. And above all, choose yourself.